What's going on with the feminine feeling like they can't be into their bodies and they can't express and have desires and pleasure? Like, why is that so icky or seen as like taboo? I mean, it was in my family. I don't know if anybody else, probably someone listening, it was the same. But like,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
well, definitely the time that we've been living in, and the patriarchy, and the toxic masculine that people have really adopted and believed, and like the messages we get from family, from culture, from society, that we need to be equal to men, and we need to work hard, and we need to, push, and we need to hustle. You see so many women on social media like in the hustle and the push, right? And it's really been a dis-ease, that women, the messaging that we've gotten as women, and the fear around really rising in our feminine. I mean, the witches were burned. We were, tortured and killed for really being in our magic and in our power and in our beauty. And so it's like that fear, religion, all the ways that we've been taught that being in these wild, powerful, graceful, feminine essences that we have isn't safe, and it's shameful. And so we've taken this on, right? And I think things are changing. I know things are changing so much right now in this moment in time, right? It's like we've just come into this era of the feminine. Like this whole next era, this whole next period is about the feminine rising, and really about women understanding that it is safe, right? It is safe to be in our desire. That's the beautiful thing about pleasure, right? That's why so many feminine leaders are talking about pleasure right now, because it actually recodes the system that our desires are safe, that we can actually have what we want, that we're not going to be tortured, we're not going to be killed, we're not going to be outcasts, right? That we can actually have what it is that we desire. It's safe, and we're worthy, and we're deserving. Especially now in this year of the snake, it's like this year is all about like that kundalini, that Shakti, that feminine, that deep feminine power moving through us, tapping into that, so that we can really rise into the feminine leaders, rise into the beings that we really want to be, which doesn't mean just doing, right? Doing is a part of the feminine. I talk about the three aspects of the feminine: the willing, the wild, and the wise. And this is a year for the wise, the wisdom, the grace, the being, right? The snake is slow and moves and is connected to nature and the earth, and then goes and takes strategic action, which is that wild. The wild is the creative. It's the more of the yang feminine. It is that doing. It's the action piece, which is a part of the feminine. And then the willing, of course, is having the willingness to go into the dark. And is such a big, important piece of the feminine. So in the retreats that I do with women and the work that I do, I really support women to understand these different aspects of themselves and how each one of them is sacred. The goal isn't to get to just be the wise woman and live there. The goal is to know all of the aspects of you, and when one is running the show, and how to pull more of the other energetics in.
Yes, when when one is running the show. That is what I've come to realize over the last, I would say, for sure, since I moved to Utah, which is about a year and a half ago. I think that I never felt as safe and secure with all of my needs met as I have being here. So then, of course, when you land and you feel safe and you feel good, right? That's that space where then that dark feminine shadow energy is like, okay, yeah, I feel safe enough to come out, right? And so I feel like, yeah, when you aren't aware that those three pieces exist, it's like you're trying to sit. It just made me envision like a stool with three legs. And it's like when you're trying to sit on a stool with just one leg, like it's not going to work. And like you said, figuring out that lean of when it's time for the gas in one direction and the brakes in another, and when it's time to pivot. Because I feel like as women, what I felt in your course is like we have all these superpowers, like these different capes we can wear, and like we get to be, in one of those, depending on the season of our life or whatever, instead of looking out for something else to help us or fix us or remedy or whatever. It's like, actually, there's a lot of cool tools within our feminine energy. And I just love that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
much.
We are. It's like these different, the willing, the wild, the wise, they do come along with different archetypes. And when we really learn what these archetypes are and how they move in us and through us, and the ones that we've actually disowned, the ones that we haven't really gotten to know, then we're moving in life in like this limited box of perception, this limited box of who we can be and what we can receive and what we can give and how we can be expressed. Reorganize our nervous system through the chiropractic and the entrainments and really bring the energy of the Kundalini, the Shakti online with the Tantric dance. All of those aspects get to be integrated and really accepted and understood so that we can just be a more full, more vibrant, more authentic expression. And we get to know when it's called for, right? It's like sometimes in the wise woman, it's such a being energy, right? It's such a wisdom. It's such a grace. There's such an effortlessness. It's such a time of reciprocity, right? Giving your gifts and receiving from giving your gifts. Unity. It's like weaving the web of your life. And there's a time for wild. There's a time to like be out and start that new program and really be in the like victory energy, right? Like nothing is going to stop me. I am here, and I'm activated and I'm on a mission and I will not stop until I succeed at that, right? There's a time for that. And there's a time to really go dark and be in the depths of all of the beauty and magic that comes from being willing to really go there and get to know the shadow, like you said, get to know the pieces that need to be felt and really appreciated and welcomed and loved and accepted.
Yeah, get to know the pieces that need to be felt, acceptance, not trying to push something away. And yeah, I did our advanced push catch detox at the end of December. And then after that, I immediately tapped into your manifesting magic course. And so for the first time since I've been showing up on social media every day for like a decade, right? Never taking time off, always creating, and I just was like, this month in January is not that, right? I have a wonderful assistant who makes all the short clips for my podcast. We've been still sharing that, but I wasn't really sure how I felt after the detox and as I was going through your modules and the course, right? And I was like, I could feel myself like that trying to push the gas on an area and it was just like, I was frustrated. I didn't feel creative. Nothing was coming up. Then I was annoyed by that. And I was like, girl, you need to sit your ass down. Like, you just need to like you said, that reciprocity, right? You use that word a lot in the course and I like it. I like the way you say it too. I don't know, something about your voice and the way it comes out of your mouth is like I love that. And yeah, being able to give back to me and also receive. I don't need to be Stretch Armstrong pulled in all the different directions, but I could feel that like there was this shift. And it was like, okay, are you going to go back to old ways? Or are you going to keep pushing the gas and try to do more and not listen and just keep going? And, more is more. Or are you going to choose a different path than what you saw? Yep. And so that's kind of what I've been choosing. And now we're at the last day of January on the time of recording it. And I was like, so I've been kind of going through all that. But yeah, sometimes we need that. And I know a lot of people have asked me throughout the years, like, don't you ever take a break? Like, you're always going, there's every time I open Instagram, your content's like never stop. And I'm like, no, but this time it was different because like you said, there's parts of you that cannot be ignored. And I couldn't push that side down anymore and do. If I was going to do that, I was going to burn out and like die. Like, that's how I felt. I was like, no, I'm going to like die if I do that. Literally.
Yeah. And knowing and celebrating that wild essence in you, that creative life force energy is such a beautiful thing. Like it is your superpower, right? And how much more super powerful will that be when you bring in more of the wise, that wise, really listening. And that's the beauty of the tantric dance and the womb space is she really informs in a really potent, clear way. Right. And really helps you move with more of that wise woman energy and more of that beingness. And I think we're all being called up to, as women, slow down, right? Like slow down because women are becoming like men, with that doing, more, making the more money, doing the bigger business, having the more success. It's I don't ever want to put anyone down, and everyone has their own way of being. And it can be hard for women. It's giving women the message, especially on social media, that you're not enough with what you do. That it's like this comparison and this like, because so many women who truly are in their authentic, wisdom place aren't guided to move in that way, right? And so I think, especially this year with the snake, yes, action, yes, creation. This is a huge creation year. And from where are we creating from? And how are we moving in that creative life force energy that is so important?